Alrighty then. The thing has been hit. It says we're live. Hey guys, what's going on? Memes here. We're gonna do something a little bit different. Why? Because I still need to grind out some more actual public hours. Yes, I did not account for those when I was doing those things, and then you get that letter for this and that. Okay. So we're gonna do an open science AMA. You can feel free to ask all the standard stuff and things that I'll let you ask and everything there, and I will do my best to answer it and or try to point you in a better direction. Why? Because there's one thing I know, I do not have the right direction. That's why I need you all to help me. Well, my eyebrows kind of look shiny. It's kind of cool. Uh, but in the meantime, we'll let folks roll on in here from all over the internet, from wherever where you may happen to hail, whether it's the YouTubes, the Twitters, the X Twitters, Blue Skies, Discords, or the algorithm thought you may like this. Feel free to ask away or interact. And in the meantime, uh, I'll actually bring up what I was going to do today. I've come to realize that going to school to study business and everything, you realize there are certain things that work. Other things usually doesn't really work that well. That's totally fine. I often feel bad. What I'm saying is, if you're putting just a thumbnail with a random obtuse thing in there, some numbers that maybe two or three people in the entire world could actually identify fairly quickly. Okay, probably maybe a few hundred or something like that. Uh, there's a good chance a lot of folks don't really want to get engaged. You don't want to get critted by math. That's why people like ideas. See, for me, I never thought I would get into any of the actual math, doobly doo, and everything because I stopped understanding math halfway through the sixth grade. Why? Because our teacher told us we didn't need to know this today, but it'd be useful later. So, like many folks, I just doodled in my notebook, or at least I did. And she taught us how to cross multiply fractions. Fast forward to the seventh grade. Now that you know how to cross multiply fractions, here are some letters. I've been lost ever since, except for like nuclear chemistry and like upper level finance class and the modern physics class. I took an elective as a business major for like a week and a half. It's like, oh, I know calculus. As long as there was a reason, then things started to make sense. And I think that's very important. All right. So we got some folks popping in from the YouTube, from the Twitters. I got WWKK. Thank you for joining. Hypo that's that is okay, we'll get into that in a second. Welcome, David. Good to see you over there on the Twitter or the X or whatever you want to call it. See, the one problem with just trying to just call it X is a lot of folks literally like Vsauce's name is like tweet sauce and stuff like that. And it's like I feel like it's a grandfathered in thing. All right, so let's get the hypo roulette. What's the hypo roulette? Okay, so if we're number one, I don't know. I could probably bring up. Let's actually just check up some Wolfram and hypo roulette. Wolfram hypo roulette. Okay, because the roulette is basically Professor Wolfram's. Is this it? Oh yeah, they actually here we go. Like I said, for the correct answer, we're gonna go here. Science research session, the hypo roulette. Yes, they actually did a thing. Now I'm not sure if you were there for this one because this was probably about a year and a half ago. Um, but this is the thing. Google, at least for certain context, like if you have one of the big things I've learned from Wolfram is the computational way of thinking. Now again, everybody's different, but at least for me, if you have a concept. You have a concept space, the Ruliad. Okay. Now, what is the context space? Stephen Wolfram talking about the Ruliad was probably going to be really close because he's the one, as far as I know, that coined the term the Ruliad. What is that? It's the computational limit of all things. Sounds kind of like a multiverse there or anything. That's how I grok it in my mind for computation. Again, that's not exactly precise. Hey, Des. Uh, Des is commenting. They checked on the fourth grade when they were forced to wait hours doing long division retrospectives as a master class in the education. To be fair, it's like once you got it, it's like that's cool. And even at the time of learning, I'm like, well, we we already have calculators. Don't the calculators make it a lot easier? This whole time, like we have computers and stuff. I'm like, this, can't there just be like a computer program or a website you can go to like do this? And again, some of those existed, and we had like MATLAB and stuff like this. And then fast forward X number of years, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh look, hey, we got Wolfram Alpha, a free website where you may or may not be able to hack reality. Uh, Definitions of hacking may vary, but okay. So the hyporulid. So the rulid is essentially supposed to be the entangled limit of all things computation. And then if you were to have the hyperrulid, that would be the level up, kind of like we have the platonic solids, we have the hyperplatonic solids. So basically, you have your hypercubes and your, or aka the tesseract, your hypertetrahedrons, or aka your simplex. Think they call it the five simplex. I think it's n minus one, something like that. You get your hypercubes, your hypericosahedrons, the 600 cell, your hyperdodecahedrons, the 600 cell. And then there's one other. It's like the hyperoctahedron, and then there's like some snub-nosed cube or something like that. There's like 6 and 4 dimensions, coincidentally. Hey, Charlie, good to see you, my friend. Uh, David's commenting that they were gifted students, so having a photographic memory no longer I wouldn't say I had a photographic memory. I have a semi-videographic memory. It's kind of like some of those kind of like free online video things early where it's like, we'll create a thing for you. And it's like 1 to 2 seconds or something. It's kind of like that. Like I'll remember like a teacher saying something, it's a blah blah blah. It's you marked this wrong there. It's like, well, according to the book, it's this. Did you say in one of those classes something about this? It's like, okay, we'll give you the points. So coincidentally, how I got the high score ever in like an HR class, apparently. But because that's the thing. And I also come from a town where it's named after Francis Cabot Lowell, a dude that went over to the UK, sweet talked his way into the mills and everything, happened to have a photographic memory, got some real good gains with those power looms, went back, when it came back to the States, hooked up with one of his blacksmith buddies, and they engineered the power looms over here. So he totally stole it for our own benefit. But uh, what is it? Oh God, what is it? Copyright infringement or engineering infringement aside, but hey, Ernesto, uh, your pins. Oh, let me see. I saw the other thing. I saw the ancient Egyptian stuff. I mean, I'm not going to say it's wrong. That seemed like a bit of a stretch. It's. I don't know. Let me go to this. I got Ernesto here. Let me bring that up. So, pardon. So basically, the height you have a thing, you have a hyper thing, which would basically be a higher dimensional version of that thing, and you would have the hypo-rulliad, which would be a subsection of your standard rulliad. I think I'm getting that all right. Let's do this. Let's get this going, and then I'll look up Ernesto's thingy. I think they should have chapters. All right, here we go. Jonathan, that's a good one.
Okay, but the important thing is we have a tractable example here, because in the world of a hypo observer, in a primitive recursive observer, that is something we can actually, we with our own, computational hands can actually get our hands on, so to speak. The hyper case, we don't think we can explicitly get our hands on. So I think the thing we want to do is to look at what is the answer to that question. What does the rulliad look like to a hypo observer, so to speak? And what is the world of the pure hypo world? What is it like? So I guess we can imagine, let's imagine that we have, okay, let's do a little bit of a review of what happens in the hypo world. My assumption is that every causal graph terminates. Do you think that's correct?
Yeah, yes, I think so.
But now
Oh,
let's just play that
I
out.
mean that's actually okay. What are we talking about? All right. So if the Rulliad is the entangled limit of all things, and the hyper Rulliad is the higher dimensional, the entangled limit of the entangled limit of all things, so to speak. Okay, if you're gonna think of, let's say, a small U universe. Okay, big U universe is technically all that stuff. It sounds like the hyper realm there. And again, I'm sure this is not a one for one thing, but if it's hypo, that means that there is a limit to it by its definition because it is a subset of the limit of things. So I don't know. Am I a hypo-Rulliad? I think I'm a hypo-Rulliad. If the graph of whatever the heck is me is limited, yeah, it sounds like we're kind of hypo there. Let me see. Chapter. Let's see. He's no, they didn't get. It's a 2.5 hour conversation. Yeah, a lot of times at least for Steven's normal live streams, it's literally the questions are segmented out there. Uh, so I'll put this, Jared, I'll put it in the chat if anybody would like to add that there. Okay. Uh, I did not. I read one of your propulsion pieces, Ernesto. Um, here's my. I like you. Um, the only problem is I th- I think some of the things you've been bringing up, we're getting. I've been hearing like folks in the establishment asking similar questions. I think it's a good question. I think it needs to be phrased slightly different there because we can go over there for a second. So, but okay, no active pornography on this tab. All right, you gotta consider where you are on the internet. Okay, so let's go to Ernesto's pin tweet. Okay. So, okay, again, I haven't read the Egyptian piece. Don't get me wrong. I myself, it's like, wait, over an ancient like Acadia and stuff like that, there were like effective like batteries and stuff. Like, who the heck made this? Or the anti-cathara device? When was this? Oh, I don't know, maybe 800 something AD, maybe 300, maybe 1,000 bees. I don't know. It seemed to be very intricate. Like some of those design things, and there's still plenty of questions about. It's like, okay, how did they build the pyramids to this precision? I don't have answers for that. Aside with a massive human labor and probably the cost of a lot of lives. Um, but okay, let's take a look here. All right, so it looks like we have an eye of maybe this bird, sun god, or something here. Um, a solar sail, asymmetric propulsion device. I think I saw a picture from one of those before. Okay, the short wavelengths and the long wavelength. Again, this is a fascinating question. The problem is when you take a screenshot of some ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics and you start doing the string thing where it's like you're linking this to this, list to this, it's like, even if there is something there, the standard notion, I say this as a crazy person on the internet, I'm like, I think a lot of folks with no additional context are going to be this is a crazy person on the internet. And I say this after having a 2 hour discussion with you, talking about okay, so what happens at the Planck length? I mean, that seems to be a very good question. If we have a little gravitational dip, is that not going to increase our acceleration there? And if we could adjust those wavelengths, we might be able to do interesting things. I think that's about as much as I can actively say on that. Uh, when you say propellantless thruster, I, the only problem is I think the under thing is technically just the standard radiation. As long as you're accelerating, it's almost like you're outrunning the waves behind you. So you end up generating, I think, radiation, or an observer observing you will see your temperature increasing. Because if we go to well, from alpha and we do blah blah blah, say Let's just do big G. Big G. Unit. Uh, do this. Times Planck mass. I'll get the Planck mass out from the denominator. I'll cancel it out. No, unit. Okay. Okay. So let's just do length. Like length divided by Planck time. Because now, okay. Because length divided by time is speed. Length divided by time, excuse me, squared is acceleration. Okay. There we go. So that would give us this crazy acceleration here, like 10 to the 51 meters per second squared. Okay. What this does here is it does give us an UNRWA temperature. Okay. So the interesting thing, and this is why it's a very fascinating thing, is we do have this UNRWA temperature from Professor Bill UNRWA, and then we have this Hawking temperature from Professor Hawking and I think Penrose. Maybe it wasn't Penrose for that. He's done plenty of things, so he was probably instigate. But basically, you have the gravitational field strength here, okay, and then this ends up being what is the factor? I think it's Boltzmann's constant because it's about 20 orders of magnitude difference. Uh, well, basically, as long as you're accelerating, as long as you continue to accelerate, you're going to an observer that is effectively stationary to you will see that your temperature increasing. And so that'll look like you're getting hotter and hotter to the point where maybe, oh, that person's incinerated, or they should be incinerated. Um, th- that's according to this. I mean, to be fair, if you just accelerate just normally on Earth, you have like air resistance and stuff. So it's kind of like if you stick your head out like a car window or a sunroof. Not that I'm telling anybody to do that. From my personal experience, committing a vast amount of crimes, is your face has to go like this or something like that. And if you go fast enough, your face ends up getting glued back, and you don't want to get hit by a June bug. I think it'd KO you if you're going fast enough. So almost took out one of my buddies. There's there's that. Okay. All right. Oh, for Mike McCulloch. It's well, I might get to meet him in June. I think. Yeah, Professor McCulloch, he's the quantized inertia gentleman. I'm like, he's sitting there, it's like, we have no idea all this stuff. It's like, well, what if we quantized inertia? I don't know if he's right or wrong, but I'm like, people have taken this into account, right? Like, because there does seem to be a certain point where, okay, I do remember something about this now because he sat down with the Demystify Sci folks. He's going to the Demysticon 2025 in Portugal. I've already gotten at least a ticket, so if I can't go, then I think I'll send Thad. If not, it was not a cheap ad. To be fair, it's like 4 days long. So I'm like, all right, with the discount code and everything, and they're providing like a lot of food and lodging, and it's like on the beach, and it looks really nice. There's gonna be like Unziker, there's gonna be Dr. McCulloch, and a few other folks there. And talking about the different cosmology and potential alternative cosmologies. Maybe I shouldn't have left my poster at the last conference. Maybe I'll just print another one. But see that's the thing. If numerology is numerology until you can explain more with less. That's that's my big thing with it is that okay, you can put whatever numbers you want. Okay. If you kludge it, aka you just keep on adding factors and numbers and this and that, it's kind of like here, we'll show you. We'll do okay. So that whole 1 over 137 thing, 1 over 137, aka the fine structure constant. Okay. So you see, with this is actually kind of good because it gets the what? Oh, it gets the first the first couple of digits there. It's like, all right, it's point, not 7, 2. Okay. So you've got at least the first two significant digits, and then you've technically gotten, you can get three over there, but they're not actually significant. They're just kind of exponential spaces. Okay. Then you got, while, how do I even spell it? Is it while? There's constant. Oh, it's WY, isn't it? That's why. My mind is like, I read it one way. Okay. So Weiler's con. As you can see, 0 point, not 7297. Okay, we got 3 times 3 to the 3/4, 16 times 2 to the 3/4, the 4th root of 5, and pi to the 11th power divided by 4. It gets some more digits. So like if you did 1 over this, you should get 137.36. Excuse me, 137.036. And since technically it's 137.0359999, for a long time it actually was a pretty good estimate. Because that's 60 if you get a 999, because if you do 1 over the line structure. Then, see, again, I don't have a photographic memory. I just have a video graphic. I just know going to it and recognizing the first couple of digits, see like 137.3 0.03599992. So if this is a 6, that's pretty dang accurate. Okay. So that's why you could say it gets 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it gets about 6 significant digits, something like that. So not too shabby. See what else we got. All right. Here's the thing. All I know is there was just stuff doing things the whole time. I'm just going through them like, I don't know what all these things mean. There's some notation. You listen and you go into it. And when you hear those things, here's one of the other things that I noticed. It's just, if you read things and you've never heard anybody say something, a lot of times you'll have somebody like what is it? People, the first time you hear about Leonard Euler, you're like, oh, it's, well, let me bring it up here. It's it's Euler. Euler, of course. And then you got shamed because no, it's Euler. It's Euler, man. All right, let's settle this right once and for all. Hold on. Actually, do I have the where am I on? Am I on this one? Oh, I'm on this tab. Okay. So we'll go to the video. Theory. So we cared. Boiler. There we go. All right.
In our family of the original Leonhard Euler, star pupil of Johann Bernoulli. I'm the 9th generation and the 4th Leonhard in our family after Leonhard Euler the first, the mathematician.
Wait. What was that?
Leonhard in our family after Leonhard Euler the first.
Wait. One more time. Euler?
4th Leonhard in our family after Leonhard Euler the first, the mathematician.
Oh. Well, obviously, his direct descendant is mispronouncing his great grandpa's name. It's Euler, my friend. You're saying it wrong. What I'm saying is, I think our initial intuitions were right on that. Here's the thing. Smart people can be wrong too. I've met some very brilliant folks, and then you'd have a simple thing that's like, what's trivial to you may be difficult for other people. Because we all have our strengths. It's like, yeah, ain't no just one human. That'll be kind of boring. But, ta-da. Apex. Oh, I do think I saw Mike on there. I didn't listen to the whole thing. Cool. Let me does it let me copy this? Why won't it let me? Oh, I should just go into the chat. That's fine. Well, here's the thing. My thing is, if whatever you're actually working on, number one, the whole quantized inertia thing. I'm like, he's going through it. I don't hear people saying that like he's incorrect with that. They have a disagreement, but as far as I can see, it seems to be a philosophical disagreement. And ultimately, it comes down to I think he's just one dude. And for one dude to process all this data by himself, to have the amount of verifiable, referable data utilizing this technique, that seems like a lot of work for one dude. So I think I listened to one of his talks from like a year or so ago. It was a small one, like 40 minutes long, and he was just kind of talking about this stuff very casually and everything. And he's actually very direct. I remember when Unziker had him on, and they were talking. I'm like, this could easily be an hour and a half conversation. I feel like it was like 40 something minutes, just because he would ask a question and it would just be like a direct answer. A lot of people like they'll give it a the if anybody ever gets the chance to interview Stephen Wolfram, that's one of the easiest interviews in the world. Just ask a question and let Professor Wolfram go. And he will just go on and on and on because he's got a lot to say, because he knows a lot of stuff. And he's also been around for a while. So he's seen different things that have actually worked and everything. Hey, oh, Laszlo, what's going on? Pi to the power of, what is it, golden ratio to the power of pi times Brewer's number. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know if I'm being trolled. I'm going to check right now. Skewer's number. Let's see. Uh, Skewer's number. Oh, Skew's number. Oh, this apparently appears to be a thing. Cool. And number three. Q's number is the smallest natural number x for which the prime counting function by a function of x exceeds the logarithmic interval function. The natural log of x is named for the South African mathematician Stanley Skews, who first computed upper bound of its value. The exact value is not even known. There's a crossing between to the 316th power. Do not know whether this is the smallest crossing. So that's E to a pretty high number there. Oh, little. We're just looking at this. Without assuming the Riemann hypothesis, there exists something. Okay. I mean, we've already tetrated at least twice, so we've gone up to ginormous numbers. Yeah, I think that's pretty much number of complex zeros used. Oh, they're going full. Oh, money in there. Oh, okay. All right. That's not quite Greek to me, but it seems maybe more French to me. I don't speak French. There we go. There we go. Yes. Yes. Euler. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. It sounded like he was saying of the house Euler. Because if you're going to pronounce Euler, I'm like, no, 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 no. That's Euler. Oswald's got it. Euler right there. That's how I say Euler. I say this. I'm like, that's Euler. That's Euler. Insert the Bernstein memes. Bueller, Bueller, Bueller. Should actually be Euler, Euler, Euler. Because hey, Courtney. Oh my God, yes, yes. The hair is insane. I've actually got to the point where I'm like, maybe I should get a little bit of a trim. But now I'm like, I don't know what happens. At level 40, I might not be able to grow it back anymore. Who knows? But it's Jonathan was fun. I still need to get him on. I feel bad. It's my chat trolled him a little bit, total that he was really cute and everything. He got kind of flustered. But no, Jonathan's a really good guy. He's very honest. Ah, yes, yes. Hello, Arlena. Good to see you. I hear the Arwinian Empire is slowly coming to power. I heard your Machiavellian fantasies. I'm not going to say I've never had any of them myself or anyone else on the internet. But it's to be fair, those are probably two of the most actually famous scientists I've had on and everything. Uh, no. Both brilliant folks going to go on do plenty of work and everything. Uh, it's inspiring and everything. And God, I love it. I haven't read the Harry Potter books, but just I listened to some of Professor Wolfram's stories when he's talking about. Oh, it's like so. Apparently, there was this tip that there was this book in this library, and Jonathan was coincidentally at this near the same college where this book was. So I had Jonathan scouring the library. I'm like, this sounds like something that I'm like Harry Potter, like the Half Blood Prince or something, where Dumbledore and Harry are going on like adventures out there to find Horcruxes and stuff like. I don't know. That's where my mind carried me, and I totally mean Jonathan to Harry Potter. So it's. I mean, it started at a school, a summer school for basically people learning digital wizardry. If they're learning digital wizardry, and both of them happen to be British, okay, again, harmful stereotypes. It just seemed to work, and it made me laugh. But yes. The rise of the Arwinian Empire is nigh at hand. Let's see. What do we go after? Let's get Sonic U. Oh, I I don't know what that means. I don't know if I interviewed that person. I have no idea. Here's the thing. I've done a lot of dumb things on the internet. Keeping track of them all can be difficult. So if somebody says I did something, I can't immediately just say no. There's enough terrible blackmail worthy things out there. I just learned to accept it now. It's like, well, as long as I accept that I'm a terrible, horrible, no good human being, then I should be okay. Why? Because honesty matters. Uh, I mean, personally, that sounds like somebody over on Twitch or something. But again, I'm being stereotypical. I'm assuming VTuber. Why? Because it's the internet. All right. Where are we at? Okay, we'll bring up let's see. So nice words. Even get my okay, so the last part for just Ernesto and what he was asking there. I say that I did the same thing when I saw like Thad's ideas and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is a cool thing. These people obviously know what it is, and even after sending, well, we're not going to drop the specific names here, but at least one actual scientist that's pretty smart. I hold in pretty high regard. A copy of Thad's book, he just kind of skimmed through. It's like, I don't know what to make of it. And at the time, I'm like, I think of it as rotation operators. I really didn't know what I was saying there. It just kind of sounded like it kind of made sense there. And then even at one point, if you're trying to explain to somebody, like I remember was it James from the Theories of Nothing community? He was one of those other folks within Kurt Jimungle. Shout out to Kurt's Theories of Everything is Pace One contest, which was so much dang work and the payoff and everything. He hasn't held another one. Why? It takes so much to do it if you're just trying to get by and start a business, take care of your family and stuff. So you interview the technically the more famous people. Why? Because that's how people start paying attention. Arwen, Arwen. Yes, yes. We're just talking to Arlene about the rise of the Arwinian Empire. Hold on to your owls, y'all. That's my general take on it. It's a heck of a time. It's oh, I miss the good old days. Just the little fun this, the little fun that, just the little things on the internet, and then before people lost their minds about whatever the subject of the day is. Why? Hold on. Does it let me show clips? Oh, I need to upload. Okay, I'll upload this clip because I can actually do that now, can't I? Where is it? We'll go here. Media assets. All right, where are we? Add. Okay, I have. There we go. That's pretty short. All right. As we use the power of the internet to do the magical stuff that we have, listen, I don't have all the answers, but after spending enough time on the dumpster fire that is X Twitter, typically I feel like this is often the answer.
I have more information now, so the moral of the story is people were offended on the internet.
Yeah, basically.
I'm just saying. Does that not answer a fair number of questions? What happened? No matter what happens, somebody says something, somebody does something. It goes, okay, I'm going to fillet my own ego right here. Why? Because it's an AMA and people aren't really asking me questions. They're just saying nice things. So I'm just going to continue to do the standard thing, seeing as I was going into a stump speech. I had actually given a free speech rally a number of years ago before I really started to do, oh God, what is this? Hold on. Look at that face. Hold on. What happened? Ah! Patriots Day, because it was Patriots Day. Patriots Day. Oh, it's got a cool number of views. I like that. So I'm one of those screenshot people. They're in the 33. All right. So when was this? This was 2018. This was a free speech event by, at one point, former presidential candidate. Oh, God. I forget his name. He's one of the guys from MIT that held one of the first patents on email. No, he was running for Senate. He was campaigning against Senator Warren. But Sargon of Akkad decided to show up and everything, so he came there and everything was put on by, I think, Boston Free Speech and the Proud Boys. Boston Free Speech's Discord server got nuked shortly thereafter, and that's one of the Proud Boys there. I'm like, wait a second, did somebody get killed at like one of your rallies or something? And he's like, well, that was another chapter. It was at that point I realized, wait a second, I heard somebody from Antifa online. Somebody was bringing that up. Well, did somebody get killed? Well, that was another chapter. I'm like, wait a second. Same excuse, different side. It's all right. We helped hold up the American flag a little bit there. Why was I running? Oh, Sargon went there. He said some words, and it was really cold that day, so he left fairly quickly. Here we go.
Not forearms, or was it six?
Profit for one's group and self. Folks have hurt each other for many years now. From all sides, we hurt each other. We elevate the rhetoric, but there are certain things we must hold to be self-evident. All men, and women, and everything in between, and whatever you may consider yourself, we are created equal. We are human beings. The issue we run into, we use the wrong words. Professor Peterson says, for instance, Hogwarts. We give examples of this and that. I say we're being bad wizards. We need to use better words to help heal these divides. I believe we are all more similar than we are different, but we do each have our own unique life experience. Aside from a couple strands of protein, we're all the same. The path every individual here has walked has been different. It's different than my path. It's different than the folks over their path. But I truly believe that most folks, as Sargon said, are good people. And good people can figure these things out. But just because you're a good person doesn't mean we don't do stupid shit. We all do stupid stuff every single day. Woo! You combine that with the fact that folks tend to act in their own self-interest. That explains a lot, right?
Right.
Hey, we all like to troll each other. We all like to jab. We all like to have fun. But there are certain things, no matter what happens, somebody says something, somebody does something, it becomes beyond the pale. We end up evolving into the purity style again and again. This happens on every side. We see it again and again throughout history. Those who do not heed history are bound to repeat it. That's why I have a dream. At some point, these labels, we live in a world where labels seem to mean nothing anymore, yet they mean more than anything else. I hope for a day when Republican, Democrat, SJW, Skeptic, and Neckbeard are no more. And all that is left are the folks, the people that stand here, the people that stand over there. We can figure this out. We have been given the greatest social experiment in the world in these United States of America. Yes, we can. A wise man said that once. You must remember that. And I truly believe we can figure this stuff out. But we need to get over ourselves. And that's up to each and every one of us.
I was dedicated to my friend Mr. Quit. Wow. That was, oh God, going on 7 years now. Oh, yes. Back when I was more in the realm of politic, and then after you talk with enough folks, you realize a lot of folks just don't like each other and they're going to fight no matter what. And then my solution became, let's legalize dueling. And then I found out it actually gets an overwhelming amount of support. And I thought, and I'm like, do I want to be known as the dude that goes on as history that legalized consensual murder? I'd rather not, so I turned to science. Yes, yes. And everybody comes out of the woodwork once we start playing Frog's theme from Chrono Trigger. Don't that beat all? I don't know. I like doing stuff like that. It's yeah, you gotta watch out for these neckbeard guys. We're all over the place. Oh, thank you, Arwen. Well, that means a lot. Here's the thing. I just like playing on the internet. I like trolling. I like getting ideas out there. I like having fantastic conversations that help expand the mind. The big thing is, I just want people to think. That's really it. Not just, oh, this is what was said on the boob tube, or this is what was said on the TikTok, the YouTube things, all my shows that I tune into and everything. Can watch all your shows. You just want people to think for themselves. You can be inspired. You can be influenced. Oh, that's what I call influencers. But in order to form an opinion, if you need to check what everyone else said first, before you express your opinion, is it really your opinion? That's all I'm saying. That's a big thing. I think if enough folks are at least thinking for themselves, or at least going through the exercise of thinking, because it's like to formulate what might be a correct thought, maybe that's impossible. But I think we can do good enough. I think there's enough leeway, so to speak, in our reality that we can better figure out things. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there'll always be people that will hate each other. And Just open up a lot of boxing gyms and stuff like that. Just designated fight areas. You want to have your fight? You guys are honorary. All right, there you go. Fight it out. What? Wait. Wasn't there something you truly believed in? You're making such a big stick of it on the internet. Wait. Now, here's the thing. The Memes of Destruction channel does not promote violence unless we legalize dueling. But I think there's two types of people on the internet. Those that have been punched in the face and those that have not been punched in the face. As an individual that's been punched in the face on more than one occasion, I prefer not to get punched in the face. That's a point of personal preference there. But if there is something that really gets in your craw and it's the most important thing in the world, I say we let consenting adults beat the snot out of each other. Well, it's not like it's something they truly believe in. And if a person truly believes in something, they're willing to eat a knuckle sandwich for it, I claim. If they're not willing to eat a knuckle sandwich, they probably don't truly believe in it. That's my opinion. It's see, politics has its segments and everything, and the state. I'll give you the 30-second thing, and then we'll just get back to the science stuff. It's you look at the business model. At least when I went to school for business, it's like, all right, you look at the establishment business model, you see what works, and then you differentiate yourself from that and you build. Okay. Standard business model. Pick a side, doesn't matter what side. Left, right, pick your side. Whatever side you pick, good people are good. The other side, bad people are bad. That's all you need to understand. And churn. Go on Twitter, start a fight, and then when somebody you don't like reaches out and you get into a spat, you make a YouTube video of it, you go through an anthology, they keep on responding, you make more videos, and you make a bunch of money. Drama farming. We're a nation of farmers. To be fair, that's where I bought my Crusader spell in World of Warcraft, from a farmer. He actually charged me a fair price for it. God, it paid for itself in spades over the expansions. But now I can't confirm that. I cannot endorse entheogen use. I'm not saying I haven't done that stuff. To be fair, I actually haven't done that stuff. I can't say. I feel like, and again, from just my personal lived experience without those drugs, I think anything that can open your mind up to being more moldable, more plastic, if you would. Kind of like when you're a young kid, a lot of things can heavily influence you more so because, well, you also have a smaller reference space. But if your mind becomes more plastic and you become more open to different concepts and molding your mind, I mean, that seems like a pretty good reason why a lot of folks, like if they try to quit smoking and stuff, they have much greater success after having had a positive experience or something like that, something that's meaningful, like like a strong, tenuous, a strong emotional moment or something like that. It's kind of like, I think, where was it? But science, there's so much there, and especially the way things are playing out right now is we're on the verge because you had science for a while. I even remember when I was in college and stuff like that. I walked through the science building and you see the string theory posters on the wall, and it's like our reality is made up of extraordinarily tall, stringy, oscillating things. And I walk by, I'm like, that makes sense. That makes sense. That seems like it explains a lot. And there's at least a smart bunch of folks doing that. And maybe there's something there, but according to Casey, I think bosonic string theory, one of the original formulations, may actually have some more bearing, according to him. But I'm going around. I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And then it's like, okay, can we test this? Yes. I just need a collider the size of the solar system. So, when's that going to get built? Maybe 1,000 years. Cool. Can we test for something else in the meantime? More recently, maybe. We may be able to get a glimpse of this or that. And Dr. Hassenfelder has her words for a lot of folks that strength there. And again, it's like, what are you trying to do? It's now that there are other folks out there, folks, whether they're in standard academia or maybe outside of standard academia, a lot of folks seem to be willing for new things. And even just within a lot of the folks that are in more of the traditional academic positions, you start hearing it's like, well, is it Cersei? No, not Cersei, not Game of Thrones. The Italian gentleman that Kurt had interviewed a while back. I think Fernando Calisi or something like that. No, that's Game of Thrones again. Calisi, Sasani or something like that. But basically, he's doing the Assumptions of Physics YouTube channel, and he goes on like every Saturday morning, and he'll kind of like go through, and he's like, all right, he's working through like these are the things we require. We need this for quantum theory. I'm like, all right, well, that's kind of cool. He's listing up the things that we need, and again, he's not a physicist. He's just talking with a lot of smart folks. It's like, what do we need for this? And then you've got Jacob Barondus over at Harvard. There, he's like, I wanted to give my early like freshman year physics students a little taste of quantum mechanics. So he's like, oh, I went into the literature and tried to find where the chasm between classical and quantum got close enough and then they could jump over. He's like, to my surprise, the chasm just merged. It just went away. It's like, what? That seems very strange. It's people told us that wasn't the case. And the best part is apparently he found that by making a mistake. People apparently assumed Markovian dynamics. What does that mean? Long story short, the best that I know is what happened before doesn't really matter. We just take a slice. If we had a instant snapshot, we were the proverbial just instant infinitesimal slice of cheese out of the block there. We could tell what would happen next. Apparently, that's not the case because he used what's known as the keyword is non-Markovian dynamics, aka what happened before matters. I'm probably butchering that, but that's okay. So basically, the past matters for the future. I mean, isn't that just like a duh thing? I don't know. Maybe it's just so it's sounding like it's. And then even we start getting different YouTubers and stuff out there. Was it Chris the Brain and stuff like that? He's back there. And if Rick is still here, you should take a look at some of Chris the Brain's stuff if you haven't already. It may or may not sound familiar. Let's see, what do we got? What do we got here? WKK is commenting here. Gemini experimental thinking model. That was released yesterday. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of a noob on a lot of these LLM and different agents here. I've only really used mostly the Chat GPT and the little variations of them there. I mean, I've used Grok a little bit there. It depends on what you're looking to use it for. Have I used Gemini? I have the $20 Chat GPT. Are these things better than the $20 Chat GPT? Actually, to be fair, I don't even think I've used O1 to deep dive into any of this stuff there. I mean, I was happy enough when the Wolfram GPT at one point, because the Wolfram GPT is technically at least codes in. It will go to Wolfram Alpha and do the computations for you. Apparently, O1 and a lot of these newer models, they know to go to Wolfram Alpha. That was actually, I think, a video 2 days ago or something on like the AI agents and everything. It's basically because a lot of these things were trained to give you an answer that you would likely get on the internet. Now, note, a lot of answers on the internet are wrong. Especially if you're asking it to do a mathematical thing, it's like, there's a decent chance it's going to make a mistake because why? It's trying to generate it's using tokens. But if it can take some of its tokens, aka the amount of stuff it's used, it's trying to figure stuff out with. Okay. I literally just thinking of like tokens at like the old arcade, like a whole bunch of quarters and stuff like that. All right, it's got like 100 tokens it can use. It's like maybe use half of them for text, and then the other half to actually do the calculations on Wolfram Alpha, return it, and then stylize it, and then just output it there. That sounds like a fairly decent way, just because rather than having to do all this compute to try to do something else, it's even Stephen Wolfram says it's like, yes, one of our newest and expanding customer bases are large language models like a ChatGPT or a Gemini or a DeepSeek. The reasoning models. It's my only problem with that WWKK is don't know if there's really any. The thing is, if there's not, maybe I should try it actually, since I don't know. Um, Actually, I haven't even done it on the O1 yet. It's basically when I got to the Wolfram GPT before, like their little plugin, it would always be cautious of different things. It would be like, well, you should be very careful if you're trying to do this. You're going to need to have a well thought out system. You're going to need to have experimental data, blah, blah, blah. At one point, I brought some of the stuff to it. It's like, oh, this could be very useful. It's like, oh, is any of this worth like potentially sharing or publishing? It's like, oh, absolutely. I'm like, okay, why is the Wolfram thing telling me? So it's just like, I know I just need to do it and stop procrastinating and actually submit things. And I'll submit it on all the different, heck, write a couple of short. I don't like the dry scientific writing. It bores me. I like creative writing. I like having fun. I like telling a story. I see why Stephen Wolfram doesn't really personally publish. I've seen folks kind of use that as a Stephen Wolfram hasn't published anything in years. It's like, wait, you mean on the archive? Even though I'm pretty sure people are publishing stuff for him on the archive anyway. But yes, because he publishes it on his own personal blog. Why? Because he's Stephen Wolfram. Does he really need any more street credit? That's the thing. You can feel free to disagree with the guy, but the guy's at least earned enough clout, so to speak. But Laszlo, I think you just collapsed maybe a couple of verses. It's the multiverse may still exist. I can't confirm if it a Graham's number set to the power of Graham's number to the power of three. Yeah, that would at least make my head explode several times over. Let me see. Give a screenshot to a computational. Let's see. Let's see. How would I do this, Gemini? Got to supercharge my ideas. Oh. Oh, there's versions. Wait, it's versions of Flash? Is this Flash Player? I don't know. Do I have the upgrade? Everyday help. I don't know. I do the preview. Flash experimental may not work. It's connected. Well, let's see what happens. A black hole in my head. Well, there's already enough holes in my head. Do this. Let's go over here. Gemini. Friend, can you please compute the mass of the Higgs boson divided by the like mass and square the whole expression. See what happens. Oh. 1.05 to 4 times 10 to the exponential 10 to the minus 34. Oh. Excuse me. Cool. Isn't that kind of close to the magnitude of h bar? You're right to notice it's a fascinating observation. Here's a breakdown of why this is interesting. You calculated whatever that is there, subscript, this and that. Minus 34, the reduced Planck's constant is approximately. These values are incredibly close to magnitudes. This suggests possible deep connection between the seemingly disparate. See, here's the thing. When somebody, especially even an LLM, starts saying all these nice things about what I said, I become very skeptical and just assume it's trying to make me happy. Apparently, Unzicker showed in some of his recent chats, and I think with like all-one over in the Chat GPT side, that it actually could be disagreeable, and he seemed pretty impressed. Maybe I should just, because I think a lot of it comes down to how you prompt it. And if you've prompted it enough times, letting it know how to kind of handle a conversation, it will do different things for you there. Let's see. Approximate blah blah. Close the magnitudes disparate. Seemingly disparate areas of physics. He blows them, mass fundamental particles and standby, like mass fundamental mass and core and gravity, where gravity is strong as the other fundamental fluids. Read plus okay, read the energy and frequency. And there suggests blah blah blah. There's no definitive explanation. Oh, I like how it gives the sources there. That is cool. All right. Oh, that was worth a shot. See, I learned something new. Cool. Half the Planck light. See, that's where that might be why there's that factor of 2 in there for the simplest Schwarzschild solution black holes. It's 2gm, which is the mass, and then divided by your radius is the radius squared. 2g. Yes, I think it's squared because g has length of a third in it. Okay, cool. Well, that was fun. So, yeah, I was like, hey, that being able to actually just get out there and listen. I plan for things. If I'm going to be talking for like an hour or so, there's a decent chance I'm just going to ramble about a whole bunch of things. But we clipped out that little conversation when I had asked Professor Wolfram what the most effective form of computation is. He kind of went on for a good 10 minutes there because he gives great answers. You just ask a simple question like that. And then is binary the most effective form of computation? So he answers that in about a minute or so, and he starts going into ternary systems. He starts getting into computers utilizing different methods of computation because it's not a biggest fan of quantum computers because it's kind of skeptical. Maybe there's plenty of cool things they can do, but we'll see. So, on that, hey, take care of yourselves, everyone. It's a wacky and wild world out there, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Peace out, everybody. Oh, the thing.